I am so glad that a couple of my subscribers sent me this story right here, because this story right here definitely has to be told and the world definitely needs to know about it. So this man's name is Dr. James Watson, and he is held as this DNA pioneer. Like, he made some discoveries involving DNA, and the structure of DNA. You know how when you look on TV and they show how the DNA looks on those computer screens, this, and that he was the one that discovered that and formed that graph. But anyway, he has come under fire, and the guy is way older than he looks way older than what he is. They say he's 90 years old, but to be honest, he looks like he's about 900. And back in 2007, he made some racist remarks that ended up getting him removed from his position. And because he was basically expressing some racist views. Well, earlier last month there was a PBS documentary that aired, and some more stuff had came out into the light. This story right here that I'm going to read from is going to blow that entire high IQ lid off that white people love to express so much. And I think he is the reason as to why a lot of white people say that they have a high IQ. But let me go ahead and read this story. Nobel Prize winning DNA scientist James Watson has been stripped of several honorary titles by the laboratory he once headed over his views about intelligence and race. The Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory said it was acting in response to remarks he made in a television documentary which aired earlier this month. The 90-year-old geneticist, one of three who discovered the DNA double helix, had lost his job at the New York laboratory in 2007 for expressing racist views. But in the new PBS film American Masters Decoding Watson, he said his views on intelligence and race had not changed since. He had told a magazine in 2007 he was inherently gloomy about the prospect of Africa, as all of our social policies are based on the fact that their intelligence is the same as ours, where all the testing says not really. So basically, it goes back to the whole thing that black people do not have a high IQ, that we are dumber or less intelligent than our white counterparts. You gotta read through that code speak. Remember, I just talked about code speak and how Lee Atwater taught us. Read through that code speak. That whole statement that he said right there is basically saying that even though the tests say this, something else says that. While Dr. Watson also said he hoped everyone was equal, he added people who have to deal with black employees find this not true. In the latest documentary, the molecular biologists say the genes cause a difference on average between black people and white people in IQ tests. The laboratory branded the latest remarks reprehensible, reckless, and unsupported by science, saying they effectively reversed Dr. Watson's written apology and retraction in 2007. So basically, he went against what he said over 10 years ago. The research center subsequently revoked 3 titles: Chancellor Emeritus, Oliver R. Grace Professor Emeritus, and Honorary Trustee. The zoologist has a long-standing association with the Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory, with him becoming director in 1968, is president in 1994, and is chancellor a decade later. The lab also has a school named after him. Dr. Watson's son Rufus has since said his father was in a nursing home after a car crash in October. Karma. True karma would have been where he would have been in a grave. He said the science's awareness of his surroundings were very minimal and rejected the notion that he was a bigot. Lies. He said, my dad's statements might make him out to be a bigot and discriminatory, but they just represent his rather narrow interpretation of genetic destiny. Oh, that's so noble of his son to get on code, but at the end of the day, your son is still a racist. Your father is still a racist. He might be one too. My dad has made the lab his life, and yet now the lab considers him a liability. Dr. Watson rose to prominence after sharing a Nobel Prize with scientists Francis Crick and Maurice Wilkins for discovering DNA was a double helix in the shape of a long twisting ladder. The finding represented a breakthrough in understanding how genetic material works. Yeah, this guy deserves everything that's coming to him. Hopefully he is, in that nursing home for the rest of his life. I'm sure that he will be, because they said he's like 90 years old. But like I said, he looks like he's 90. But yeah, this is the guy now that we know is responsible for putting out there that white people have this extremely high IQ. But not to be quite honest, I don't fall for the stuff that they say when they talk about that damn IQ test. That thing was designed for them to make them appear more intelligent than they really are. We all know that. You'd have to be a dunce cap wearing fool to actually believe anything about that damn IQ test. I never took an IQ test, and I feel that I'm pretty intelligent. I really don't even care what they say my IQ is. I'm not going to be, and my intelligence is not going to be determined by a number. It's going to be determined by what I know to be true and factual information in front of the people who I learn from, or any research that I do. But they need to rely, it's funny, they need to rely on an IQ test to determine their level of intelligence. But people like myself don't. Now, what does that tell you? Y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one.